Hello, basketball fans around the world. I'm Pee Wee the Plug. This is the Pee Wee the Plug channel. And this video is just an open letter, a visual letter to all of the basketball fans around the world, no matter your race, no matter where you're from, no matter your gender, no matter how long you've been involved or how long you've been watching or a fan of basketball. This video and message and letter is for you. I'm Pee Wee the Plug, also known as Pierre from the Through the Wire podcast with House of Highlights and Bleach Report. This isn't a fancy video that's supposed to go viral or do anything. This is just a raw, unfiltered, one-on-one video for me and the true, genuine basketball fans around the world. I just feel like there's been a lot going on. There's a lot of things that are changing about basketball and you know the way that fans interact with basketball and fandom in itself because of social media and the internet and just technology in general. And I just feel like there's a lot of things that are kind of going wrong with the basketball world that we all are a part of and we love being a part of. And someone being, you know, a little bit older than a lot of people that's on social media at 27. I'm not old by any means. I'm just older than a lot of the people that I see in the basketball community and the NBA spaces of social media and whatnot. I've been involved with basketball from my earliest memory. I've been involved with basketball for over 2 decades now. Majority of my life, basketball has been involved in at a high rate. And I'm not talking about NBA. I'm talking about basketball at almost every level, from playing it to watching it to studying it. It's been a big part of my life. And for me, one of the things that's been going on that's had this topic or just had these thoughts in my brain was just the reaction to all of these award races of this year, which I felt like have been phenomenal. This has been one of my favorite years of all of the award races because there's so many different candidates for so many different awards and it's so many deserving people. I always feel like that's the best in my opinion, when there isn't just one clear-cut guy and there's guys battling and making their cases, and you got different people with different perspectives offering different debates and different points of view, you know, to cater to each player. It's just healthy. I truly believe basketball debates and conversations are healthy because you bring two different perspectives together and they go at it with each other in you know, verbal combat and just information, nothing personal or nothing like that. And they both walk away from that conversation more knowledgeable, because if you make a case for player A and I make a case for player B, you may have enlightened me about player A in a part that I really didn't acknowledge or see or view or value. You may have put that value in my mind and vice versa. And even if we both walk away with our opinions the same, we might have learned, the chances of us learning something new or having a new profound respect for the opposite point of view is high. You walk away from that conversation with more respect for that player, more respect for that person. You may learn some new information. You may have to use some new information for your guy that you didn't even know you had. It's just a lot that you can gain from a healthy debate in basketball. And I feel like this year specifically, at least for me, I've been noticing that like a lot of people take their fandom of a player and a team and they value it more than the game itself. And that's something that I never will understand. That's, to me, reverse engineered like thinking. There's no way that you can love a player or a team more than the game itself, because without the game, there is no team or no player. And one thing that's undefeated is father time. So I can love a player all I want, but at some point that player is going to stop bouncing that basketball, and he's going to probably stop, unless you're a fan of LeBron James, playing at a high level. And eventually you're going to have to move on from that player. The one thing that will always be here and will always stay the same is the actual game that we play and that we love and that we watch. So for me, the game should always be your number one thing. That way, as a fan of basketball, you never lose. Even if your favorite team doesn't make the playoffs, like me, the Knicks, I don't lose, because it's like, okay, the Knicks didn't make it, but I'm still a fan of the game, so I still want to see the rest of what the league has to offer. My team didn't make it. There's no big deal. I move on, and boom. You know what I mean? Even if my team makes it, I love the game more than my team to not have a biased perspective. I'm not taking my team over anybody that they're going to play just because it's my team. I'm rooting for them and hoping for them to win. But when I'm analyzing a game and I'm looking at it from a fan perspective of basketball, my team being my team kind of moves out of the way. And even with this MVP race, when we had Giannis, Jokic, Joel Embiid, I just feel like those are number one, three great guys from what I've known. Everything that I've seen in interviews, anytime that I've heard anybody speak about them as far as being a teammate, all great guys that don't do anything. Never seen them in the media do anything that I was just like, oh my gosh, what are the, you know what I mean? So we have these three guys that come from three different places, and they have three tremendous stories. When you think about Jokic being a second round pick, you know, you think about all the adversity and the injuries Joel Embiid had to face at the beginning of his career, and as a guy who picked up the basketball a lot later than his peers. You think about Giannis and his story, having to share shoes with his brothers to play basketball when he was younger, and where he comes from in Greece and everything he's been through. That right there puts me in a position where I'm not rooting against any of these guys. You know what I mean? I'm not talking down on any of these guys just based off that. And even outside of that, when we talk about on the floor performance, these are guys that are all putting up and having historical years, man. These are future Hall of Fame players. How would I look because I'm voting for Giannis to talk down on Joel Embiid? What can I really say to talk down on a player of that magnitude who's had the year that he's had? Vice versa. If I have Jokic, what is there for me to really say about Giannis Antetokounmpo to put him down? A player that great, of that magnitude, what the hell could I really say? Or what am I even trying to gain by trying to say anything to put his game down on what he's done? That's just ludicrous to me. It just doesn't make any sense to talk down on a player that's a future Hall of Famer, already two-time MVP, champion, defensive player of the year. Like, just the resume in itself, who is talking down on that? When you think about everything that Jokic has done without his second and third best player, MVP himself, who's talking down on that? Even when you look at the other awards, you got great coaches all around the league. Monty Williams has been fantastic over the last 2 seasons. Taylor Jenkins has been brilliant. Ime Udoka has been amazing for the Boston Celtics in their turnaround. But only one of them can win the award. I'm not going to talk down on any of the coaches because all of them have been amazing. And I think that's one thing that the basketball community, and for some reason on social media, they forget. You know what I mean? It's like we have the best game. This is the best talent. This is the best of the best on the entire planet, all playing this game, and they only can win one award. There's only one MVP. There's only one championship. There's only one finals MVP. There's only one of everything. So if we have a game with all of these great players, right, all of these Hall of Fame talents, we have to go into every year understanding and knowing that somebody's going to not win. You know what I mean? There's somebody who's going to have deserved the MVP. I've never seen an NBA season where there was only one guy that deserved the MVP. I've never seen it. I've never seen an NBA season where there was only one guy that deserved Rookie of the Year. Never seen a year where there was only one guy that deserved Defensive Player of the Year. But yet, every single year when we figure out the results, we figure out who's going to win what, everybody goes into a frenzy if it's not the guy that they wanted, as if nobody else was deserving, as if they don't know that everybody can't win the award. And it goes all the way back to the fandom. It's simply because you're either a fan of that team or you're a fan of that player. I like the word snubbed has become so overused, right? We have 3 All-NBA teams, which tells us that only 15 players are going to make it. But all of us know, as fans, I would hope, that there's always 20 to 25 deserving players. We have at least 35 players that are all NBA players at any given moment. Literally, I can name you 35 players who can deserve a spot on an all NBA team. Even rookies, we have a first team and a second team. There's usually more than 10 rookies who can deserve a spot on an all rookie team. But somebody's not going to make it. And this is information that we already know, things that we should already expect as basketball fans. Yet, every single year we're going to frenzy. It's over the littlest shit. MVP, I can understand. It's a little, oh man, that's my guy, whatever. But the lengths that people go I just never seen this type of talent be talked down upon. Like, we're literally taking talents and players for granted because you want to see a particular player win an award that they still have all these years to get. It's mind blowing. Even over the littlest shit, like I said, all rookie second team. Are we serious? I've never heard an MVP speech mention all rookie second team. Yeah, we're inducting blank blank into the Hall of Fame. 3-time champion, 2-time MVP, scoring title, defensive player of the year, all NBA 12 times, 13-time All-Star, and all rookie second team. I just never heard it. It's just something I've never heard before, so I never understand the magnitude of why fans cling on to the littlest things like that. And that's basically my message, man. My message, to wrap everything up, I don't want to have everybody here for a while. My message is love the game more than anything. Because without the game, we don't have teams, we don't have players. And the one thing that's always going to remain the same and be the common denominator is the game. The game is always going to be here. Players are only here for a certain amount of time. Hell, teams are only here for a certain amount of time. Teams are moving and transferring, all type of things. So enjoy the game. Enjoy the game. And that way, as a basketball fan, you're forever educating yourself. You're forever learning. And you're forever enjoying the game. This game is supposed to be a break from life. It's supposed to be an escape. It's supposed to be an outlet. It's not something that's supposed to add more stress to your life. It's not something that's supposed to cause depression. It's not something that's supposed to make you create enemies. This is something that we should, everybody should be connecting. Even when you debate or disagree with somebody. But this shouldn't be something where you have to block people on Twitter, or people are blocking you, or things are getting heated and personal. I'm all for shit talking and going back and forth. It's a part of it. That's just how I grew up with it. But at the end of the day, I've always been able to say, hey, I can agree to disagree with anybody. And as heated as it can get, that's how it's supposed to be. I don't mind it getting heated. It's basketball, emotions. This is what we do. It's passion. But at the end of the day, as heated as it can get, nothing should stop the simple agree to disagree. I respect your opinion type ending to a conversation. I just feel like that's what it should be about. Every time I go online, I'm on social media, and maybe it's just a social media thing. I just see it's toxic. It's the opposite of people becoming allies and supporting each other. It's negativity. It's always looking for a way to discredit a person, a player, a coach. Even random shit that was 20 years ago. It's people that, I can't believe blah, blah, blah was an all-star with these numbers. Empty stats. Oh, he didn't deserve this. They didn't deserve that. He went to this team. He didn't have to do this. It's always negative. I never wake up and just see a conversation uplifting something like, man, did you know in 19 blank, 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 this guy did this and this guy did that. And that was just, it's always discrediting. For the most part, it's always discrediting. It's always arguing. It's always looking for any way to go against what somebody else is saying. I see threads of people saying something, and then there's one person or two people come in, and they're going throughout the whole thread, just trying to argue, find anything to argue about. It's just silly, man. It's just silly. Use the game as an outlet. Use the game, as an escape. And last but not least, love the game. And when you truly love the game more than anything in itself, you will always win as a basketball fan. Nothing can take away being a basketball fan. But when you allow your fandom of a team and a player to become the one thing that you love and trumps everything, that's how you find yourself not being able to enjoy things. I've been there before as a young fan. I love Kobe. And I still to this day don't feel like I really got to fulfill or appreciate that Detroit Pistons team that beat the Lakers in the championship. 03-04, I believe. I don't feel like I appreciate that team in the moment as much as I should have. I liked them. I appreciated parts of it. But as a Kobe fan, I was still like, damn, bro, I wanted my boy to win. And it took years later for me to truly appreciate it. I still feel that same way about LeBron. A lot of the Heat thing, him going to the Heat, I wasn't a fan of like everybody else in the world. But that made me not appreciate the beginning of that. I didn't appreciate it until he lost in the finals to like the Mavericks. And even still, it was kind of like I liked it but didn't know, and was still kind of like, I don't know if I want them to win. It was just very a weird relationship and appreciation that I had. But I feel like if I just let it be what it was, I would have fully appreciated and accepted that. And even as a guy who likes LeBron, I still just feel like, damn, I could have appreciated him more, seeing how close he is to leaving the game. Kevin Durant going to the Warriors, I don't feel like I appreciated that enough until it was a little bit too late. You know what I mean? There's just so many different talents, so many different things that we don't appreciate because we're so quick to fall for the negativity, or to discredit something, or to just bash something, that we let moments go right past us. And the next thing you know, it's 7 years later and the player's out of their prime, or they had a catastrophic injury and they ain't at the same level. And all you have is highlights. And you have to hope that somebody has the highlights on YouTube. It's a shame. Much love to anybody that's watched. Again, this is not supposed to be something that's just the greatest video in the world. This is really just like a open visual letter to the real basketball fans around the world. I hope this reaches to as many people as it can. Boys, girls, men, women, American, overseas, no matter what race, religion, height, size you are. If you're a basketball fan, this is for you. I hope this was able to enlighten anybody and change the perspective of anybody. If this changes the perspective of one person, then my job here is fulfilled and done. I appreciate you guys for watching. Much love from one basketball fan to another. Enjoy the playoffs. Peace.